Tag, you're it. What is up, guys? It's Big Chief Fan here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a book tag, actually. I actually didn't technically get tagged for this tag. But I'm a rebel, I'm going to do it anyway. So today is the intimidating TBR tag. I was originally going to do a book discussion video, but I wanted to do a tags, but I never get tagged for these things, so why not? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. I don't care. So, anyway, I hope that you guys enjoy this video, because I'm probably gonna enjoy this video, but oh well, whatever. Let's get on to the tag itself. Okay, so I wrote down the questions for this, so I'm gonna be reading off like this, so yeah, let's get started. So the first question is, what book have you been unable to finish? So, I'm actually going to be choosing Ian McEwan's Atonement for this. Ian McEwan's Atonement, I tried to read this because I heard loads of great things about this book. I thought it was going to be brilliant. I got 50 pages into this book. It's boring. Really, really, really boring. I didn't like the first 50 pages of this book, and I don't know, guys. I don't even think I'm gonna be reading this, but this is technically this is one of the few books on my TBR that I started and haven't finished, so why not put it on this list? So this is my first choice for my first question, because yes. Alright, the second question, actually I'm on another booktuber's channel. I don't really need that, but what book have you yet to read because you just haven't had the time? And that is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I think that's how I pronounce his name, but I just haven't gotten around to this because it just, this could have been in another question for later, but I just haven't had the time to read this because it is quite a thick book. It's about 500 pages. Even though the text is pretty big, still it's 500 pages. And I think I'm going to save this for another time when I'm really into the mood for a story like this, because this is about the Holocaust and I'm just not ready for something this heavy. So I'm definitely going to save this tearjerker for later on. So All the Light We Cannot See for Anthony Doerr is my choice for the second question. Alright, the third question is, what book have you yet to read because it's a sequel? None. I always start out, I don't really read that many series. I just read whatever I want to read, and honestly, I just love standalones much more than series. I definitely love standalones more than series because it's its own contained story. I don't need to buy loads of books just to get one story. I could just get a great story in one book, and it just intrigues me more to have a standalone than a series. But that's me. I know loads of people love series, and there are obvious exceptions to this book, to this idea, i.e. Lord of the Rings, Sandman, those Chronicles of Narnia. Those are some book series that I do like, but most of the time I just am not a fan of book series, or even duologies, that is. So I don't have an answer for number 3, so yeah, number 3, none. Number 4, what book have you yet to read because it's brand new? Now, I'm going by the fact that it's brand new because you just bought it, because technically this book isn't even that old. It's not old, but it's not new either. It's 20 years old, but I just bought this book, and I even bought it used, so it technically shouldn't be in this question, but it's new to me, and that is The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. Have no idea what this book is about. Have no idea what this book is about at all. I just picked it up because it's more of a cover buy more than anything. Yeah, it's just, I guess that's what it is, so I think that's what it's called, cover buys, right? Yeah, I think so. But I think I might like this. This looks like it looks kind of longish, but it looks to be interesting. I like long and interesting books, so I don't know. I have no idea what the book is about. I should stop myself before I get worse. Number 5. What book have you yet to read because you read a book by the same author and didn't enjoy it? This book I actually started reading. It could have fit in question number 1, but I wanted to fit in here because he is probably my least favorite classical author of all time, but for some odd reason, I say that I can't hate this author unless if I read this book. So it's Ulysses by James Joyce. I don't know. I read Dubliners and A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, or half of Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. I couldn't even get through it. And it made me want to vomit, so, yeah, I'm not a fan of James Joyce. I know loads of people are going to say, oh, you just don't have the attention span to write James Joyce. I just don't like him. I don't like his prose. I can't stand his prose. Why does he make, I know it's like lexicon, but in the case, and just how he uses words just doesn't work. It doesn't work, guys. And this is like the king of confusing novels. When I first tried to read this, I had no idea what was going on. In fact, it made me rage quit after 100 pages, which isn't much, in my opinion. It's only like, hold up, let me get to the point where I stopped. I only got up to here. I only read this much. But it's just, I don't like James Joyce. I'm sorry. I just don't like him. So anyway, yeah, this is my choice for number 5. I read Dubliners and half of A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. Did not like it, but I'm still somehow wanting to read Ulysses because I still feel like I can't officially hate Joyce yet, so whatever. Okay, number 6. What book have you yet to read because you're just not in the mood for it? That is easily Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. I read The Fountainhead and loved it, and this is supposed to be her masterpiece. It's well regarded as her masterpiece. And the problem is, it's 1,100 pages long, but there's another problem. I read the description of it, and it just doesn't sound like something for me. Or when I bought this book, it didn't sound something like for me. Like, The Fountainhead instantly grabbed me with its premise, but this one, not really. Even though I know I'm probably going to like this book. But, yeah. Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. This is a book I'm just not in the mood for right now. And I'll get to it eventually, because I do like Ayn Rand as a writer, but I don't know. I'll get to it eventually. What book have you yet to read because it's humongous? Les Mis by Victor Hugo. Are you kidding me? My copy is 1,468 pages. If I read this will be the longest book I've ever read in my entire life. And probably will be the longest book I'll ever read in my entire life. This is ginormous. I have the complete and unabridged version. And honestly, I just can't find the time to read this beast. I know I'm gonna love it, but just, why is it so big? Just why? Why? What book have you yet to read because it was a cover by that turned out to have poor ratings or reviews? And that, for me, is kind of an iffy one. I wasn't really sure about this, but I've heard not the best things about this author, and this is another one that I read yet and just didn't finish because I wasn't really enjoying it. And that's The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy. I think I just chose the wrong Thomas Hardy book. I really liked the cover of it, and also the premise sounded awesome, but the execution wasn't well. It wasn't that well. And granted, I only got 100 pages into this book before stopping, but yeah, if you're going to impress me with a book, try not to be boring, because then I will definitely set you down. But, yeah, Thomas Hardy's The Mayor of Casterbridge, but, yeah, I like these Barnes & Noble editions, and it was really cheap, and I heard about Thomas Hardy, and this one was the one that interested me the most, but I just can't get into it. I'll maybe get into it later. That's the joy of trying books again. And finally, for the actual questions, what is the most intimidating book in your TBR pile? That is, without a shred of doubt, Stephen King's Under the Dome. This is ginormous. Again, this is probably the largest book besides Les Mis. But the text is really big, so oh well. But yeah, Stephen King's Under the Dome. It's unlike Atlas Shrugged, where I'm just kind of like, with the premise. I absolutely adore the idea of this book. In fact, it's well known now that Stephen King had the idea for Under the Dome ever since he wrote The Stand, and he wanted to make this kind of like another like somewhat kind of like The Stand, and it just never came to the idea of it before 2009 when the book was published. So yeah, just oh my goodness, I'm so excited to read this. I just need the time to do it, and even though the text is ginormous, it's still 1,100 pages. Guys, I'm not going to flip through I'm not in the mood for an 1,100 page book. I mean, loads of these books could fit into multiple questions, but this one I'm just the most excited for, but it's also one of the most intimidating. So I'll pretty much go with most intimidating yet most excited. So yeah, that's just me. That's just me.